Hey subscribers, I just want to give you a quick readout based on my observations from today, the White House meetings between European leaders Zelensky and Trump. Well, Trump was on his best behavior. Clearly, he has been getting hammered for being weak. The giveaways and gifts to Trump, from Trump to Putin, the red carpet treatment, and really Fox News has also kind of, at least the news commentators have come after him. So as a result, he put on his best show, his best face, and was very, very cordial to Zelensky and the European leaders. Met him at the West Wing entrance, was friendly, and during the course of the meetings was really quite receptive to the concerted efforts of all of these European leaders and Zelensky to the themes of Ukraine retaining its territory, Ukraine being the recipient of U.S. aid, either directly or through the U.S., through the Europeans, and frankly, receptive to what I thought was a savvy play by the Ukrainians, which is that this idea of land swaps, which in a lot of ways is a non-starter, doesn't have to be settled in the course of this conversation. Instead, it should be handled with regards to face-to-face meetings between Zelensky and Putin. And that might be a non-starter for the Russians. Putin has resisted this idea of meeting with Zelensky because that would grant him legitimacy, and is likely to not accept this idea without significant caveats. Despite this, President Trump announced that the next step would be potentially bilateral meetings between Zelensky and Putin, and then trilateral meetings between Trump, Putin, and Zelensky at some point in the future. And of course, after, in the midst, and then after, in a lengthier format, Trump read out Putin on the substance of the meeting, kind of relaying to him what was discussed and seeing if he could quickly get a deal. I think from my perspective, Trump is going to push maybe a little bit further to see if there's any deal to be had. You know, this idea that something could maybe be fixed, whether a deal can be had in the next week or two. I think that's potentially going to be a push, but I could also see his interest waning, and mainly a lot of what we're seeing now is because he's been criticized for his meeting with Putin without anything to show for it, zero, that he needed to look like a good ally to Ukraine and the Europeans. So all in all, not a terrible outcome. Could have been considerably worse. He could have been carrying the bag for Putin and insisting on a peace deal and Ukraine forfeit territory. The European leaders and Zelensky foresaw that and met in unison, and we avoided that kind of scenario. The maximum pressure on Ukraine is seemingly not likely to unfold in the near future. Some of the weights shifted back to Putin to accept this idea of a face-to-face with Zelensky to see if there's something that could be worked out in that bilateral format. And, you know, again, I would say coming out of a meeting between Putin and Trump on Friday, not the worst kind of outcome. Certainly a much better, much more kind of friendly atmosphere, and one in which I think the European leaders kind of put it before Trump without saying it explicitly, is choose us or choose Putin. You can't have both. And all those leaders coming together, Zelensky coming with an all consolidated position, seems to have, as is often the case with Trump, the last people to speak to him kind of have their way, and that's what seems to have played out. So that's my rather quick take on this. I think there's more information on exactly the scales of some of these weapon sales and so forth, and we'll see how that shakes out. But that's the highlights from today. Thank you for listening in. Appreciate it.